bấm trên máy tính cho nó đi trước nè. Rồi bấm thôi được.
There are three main purposes of my study, but before we're talking about this, we will go through our agenda for today: overview, research, conclusion, and recommendation. For the overview section, breadfruit hat, the scientific name is Anthocarbus antilis, which has belonged to the Moraceae family, and it has been well known as a staple food in Vietnam, and it's also being known as the health-promoting potential plant. And in previous decades, it has been used to treat asthma, diabetes, and so on. And the chemical composition in breadfruit are carbohydrate, alkaloid, carotenoid, and this plant contains so many compounds, so many polyphenol compounds. And when we mention about polyphenol compounds, it's referred to a large amount of the compound containing aromatic rings with one or more hydroxyl functional groups. This is the secondary metabolism compound, which widely found in nature and mainly divided into four main groups: phenolic acid, flavonoid, styrene, and lignin. Polyphenol have so many biological activity, such as antioxidant activity, anti-inflammatory activity, anti-tumor activity, and also being a neutron protection compound. There are two examples of the biological activities of polyphenol in Alzheimer's disease and also in the aging process. About coconut have the scientific name is Cocos nucifera, which just have only one species with three different cultivars. There are three different types of coconut water that I use in my study. Besides the traditional uses of coconut water, right now this has been also used as the sport beverage, the ingredient in food, also the ingredient in cosmetic products. And in my study, it also being used as a solvent in the polyphenol extraction. Here is my research section. It will go through objective, process, and result. For the first purpose of my study, as well investigating ability of coconut water in polyphenol extraction. There are the procedure of polyphenol extraction without pH adjustment. 5 grams of the material will be extracted by the reflux or separation method with coconut water and water in different ratio, and then the extract will be determined by polysulcantil method. There are the total polyphenol assay. The sample will be added in Pauling reagent, and then after the reaction, it will be determined at the wavelength at 737 nanometer, and the result will be presented at TBC milligram gallic acid equivalent per gram extract, and for the yield, it will be presented at milligram gallic acid equivalent. And here is the result of total polyphenol extraction without the adjustment in breadfruit leaves. Look at the reflux method. Almost all the extract from coconut water have lower TBC than the water extract. However, from the separation method, almost the extract from this method have higher TBC than the water extract. And while we're talking about the yield of total polyphenol contained in breadfruit leaves, almost the extract from coconut water have much higher yield than the water extract. And 3 purple columns is the total polyphenol contained in fresh coconut water. The contribution of those polyphenol contained in fresh coconut water just under 30% on the lowest yield sample. So it could be said that the contribution of total polyphenol contained in fresh coconut water is not really significant here. For the breadfruit planters, there is just only one sample from the separation method in young coconut water have higher TBC than the water extracts at the same method. However, the yield of those extracts still much more higher than the water extract, and the effect of total polyphenol contained in fresh coconut water is still not significant here. The second purpose of my study is extracting high content of polyphenol. Here is the procedure of polyphenol extraction with pH adjustment. For this purpose, we will slightly change the procedure by the replacement of water to buffer. There were three in each buffer investigation, we divided into 2 experiments. The first experiment is to procure the extract A, followed by 5 grams of the dry material will be extracted by the reflux method with coconut water and buffer. And then in the final stage, it will not include the neutralized step. However, in the experiment 2, we did the same. However, in the final step, we add sodium bicarbonate 10% to neutralize the environment of the extract. Here is the preliminary result. Looking at the citrate buffer, all the TBC content given by citrate buffer is very low. However, when we're looking at the acetate buffer at a concentration 0.5, we can see that the TBC given by that buffer is much more higher than the water extract. And based on this result, it could be said that the neutral extract is much more suitable with the polyphenol determination than the acidic extract. So we will select the acetate buffer at a concentration 0.5 in the neutral environment. After the extraction, there is the final procedure of my study, and this procedure will be applied for the rest of the sample. There are the results of total polyphenol contained in the extraction with the adjustment in breadfruit list. Look at this result. It could be said that all the TBC given by dough extract is much higher than the extract from the procedure without the adjustment. And from the reflux method, almost the extract is given higher TBC than the water extract. And there are 2 significant samples from Mala coconut water and young coconut water give much more TBC than the water extract. And for the yield, when we're talking about the yield here, where it could be said that when we adjust the pH during the extraction, it could be double the yield. And also the total polyphenol contained in fresh coconut water just account on the 12% percentage on the lowest yield sample. It's very small impact. About the total polyphenol contained in grapefruit branches, there are 2 samples from the reflux method from Mala coconut water give much higher TBC than the water extract. And for suppression method, there are 1 sample is really high, have really high polyphenol content than the others, and also much higher than the water extract. Similarity to the leaf extract, the yield of total polyphenol from grapefruit branches is still much higher, and the effect of the TBC in fresh coconut water is still not significant. And all the extract which have high TBC content will be investigated their antioxidant activity. There is the free radical scavenging activity determination. The sample will be added in DBBH solution. After the reaction, it will be determined at the wavelength at 517 nanometer, and the result will be presented at IC15 half maximal inhibitory concentration. There is the antioxidant activity of the grapefruit leaf extract. There are 2 samples, mainly from Mala coconut water, give strong antioxidant activity compared to the others in the same group, and quite strong compared to Dolox. There are the antioxidant activities of grapefruit branches extract. There are 4 extracts have the strong antioxidant activity, mainly from Mala coconut water and young coconut water. Here is an extra purpose of my study is looking for the desirable solvent which give not only high polyphenol content but also strong in antioxidant activity. So the MPI index is the value to summarize the value from total polyphenol content and also the antioxidant activities to 1 value. And each factor will contribute 50%. There are 3 selected solvents which give the efficiency in polyphenol in polyphenol extraction and perform good ability in their antioxidant activity, mainly from Mala coconut water and just only one sample from Sinsan coconut water. There are the MPA plot of the extraction from grapefruit branches. There are also 3 different types of solvents which give high efficiency in polyphenol extraction and their antioxidant activity. Still also mainly from Malai and yellow coconut water. In conclusion, TBC has been accelerated by the alternation from water to acetate water at a concentration 0.5 and all the effect from the procedure adjust pH give high antioxidant activity. So it could be said that coconut water probably become a good solvent in polyphenol extraction. Here is my recommendation for the future study. The first is optimizing the polyphenol extraction. The second is investigating more biological activities from the effect from coconut water. And final, thank you all for your listening.